Have you ever wondered what would happen if you stepped onto an island where time itself simply stopped? Not a place where clocks break, not a place where GPS loses signal, a place where every watch, every phone, every heartbeat begins to move differently. Imagine sailing through the cold Atlantic Ocean just before sunrise. Thick gray fog surrounds your boat. The radar suddenly goes blank. The compass begins spinning in impossible circles. Then, without warning, the fog opens. An island appears. Small, silent, completely absent from every official United States naval chart. And the strangest part, when you finally escape, the world tells you that you were missing for 23 years. But to you, only 3 hours had passed. This story begins with one classified Coast Guard report that was never meant to become public, and a place that some researchers still believe exists somewhere off the northeastern coast of America. In the spring of 1998, Captain Daniel Mercer had already spent 22 years serving with the United States Coast Guard. He was respected for his calm decisions during storms, rescue missions, and dangerous maritime emergencies. Mercer wasn't a man who believed in ghost stories, supernatural legends, or mysterious disappearances. His job depended on facts, coordinates, weather reports, evidence. On April 17th, his rescue vessel received an emergency distress signal unlike anything his crew had ever heard. The transmission came from somewhere in the North Atlantic. The voice was weak, distorted, as if traveling across decades instead of radio waves. The message repeated only one sentence: "Please, don't let us stay here. Time isn't moving anymore." The signal ended. Every attempt to respond failed. The strange part was the timestamp attached to the distress call. According to Coast Guard records, it had originally been transmitted in 1975, 23 years earlier. Most officers believed it was equipment failure, an old recording somehow replayed. But Mercer noticed something disturbing. The coordinates embedded inside the signal pointed toward empty ocean. No island, no reef, no abandoned military station, nothing. Still, Mercer requested permission to investigate. 3 days later, his rescue cutter sailed into unusually dense fog. Crew members later described the atmosphere as completely unnatural. There was no wind, no sound of birds. Even the waves seemed quieter than normal. Electronic equipment started malfunctioning one by one. GPS disappeared. Radar showed impossible shapes. Digital clocks froze. Mechanical watches slowed until their hands barely moved. One crew member joked that time itself seemed tired. Nobody laughed. After nearly 40 minutes inside the fog, they saw land. A rocky island surrounded by towering cliffs. It wasn't large, perhaps only 2 miles across, yet none of their navigation charts showed any land within hundreds of miles. Mercer ordered a landing team. 6 officers stepped ashore. The first thing they noticed was absolute silence. There were trees, but no insects, flowers, but no bees, fresh water, but no flowing streams. Everything looked perfectly still, almost like nature itself had been paused. Then they found the village.
Dozens of wooden houses stood untouched. Doors remained open. Tables were covered with unfinished meals. Laundry still hung from clotheslines. Books remained open on desks. Children's toys lay scattered in the streets. It looked as though an entire community had disappeared in the middle of ordinary life. No signs of violence, no blood, no bodies, only silence. Inside one home, Mercer discovered a grandfather clock. Its pendulum wasn't moving, yet it hadn't stopped. Instead, it swung so slowly that one complete movement took almost 5 minutes. One of the officers reached toward it. Mercer immediately felt something impossible. His own heartbeat slowed. His breathing became strangely heavy. His wastrich began moving backwards. The officer stumbled away. Everything returned to normal. No one could explain what had happened. Further inland, the mysteries became even stranger. The forest contained hundreds of birds frozen in mid-flight. Not dead, not hanging from invisible wires, simply motionless. A butterfly remained suspended above a flower. Its wings never moved. Mercer touched the butterfly. It instantly flew away as though nothing unusual had happened. The entire team watched in disbelief. That evening, they discovered an old church near the center of the island. Hidden beneath the altar, they found journals. Most were badly damaged, but one diary remained readable. It belonged to a school teacher named Eleanor Brooks. The final entries described events beginning in October 1975. She wrote that strange fog surrounded the island for 3 consecutive days. Afterward, the clocks stopped matching one another. Morning sometimes arrived after sunset. People aged differently. Some children never seemed to grow older. Others became adults within weeks. Neighbors disappeared while walking across town, only to reappear hours later, believing only seconds had passed. Scientists from the mainland supposedly arrived. They installed strange monitoring devices around the island. They warned everyone never to cross a line of standing stones near the northern cliffs after dark. No explanation was given. Then, the diary ended with one terrifying sentence. They told us time has become trapped, and now so have we. Mercer ordered photographs, video recordings, soil samples, everything possible. But strange problems continued. Camera batteries drained instantly. Film developed completely black. Digital files corrupted themselves. Only handwritten notes survived. As sunset approached, the island changed. Shadows stopped moving. The sun remained frozen above the horizon. For what felt like nearly 2 hours, nothing changed. The same light, the same clouds, the same silence. One crew member panicked. He began running toward the beach. Halfway there, he vanished. Not exploded, not hidden, gone. The team searched desperately. Minutes later, they heard his voice. It echoed from somewhere inside the fog. When they finally found him, he was sitting quietly beside the shoreline. His hair had turned completely white. His face looked decades older. Yet to him, only 3 hours had passed. Medical examination showed impossible results. His muscles matched those of an elderly man, but his internal organs remained the same age. No scientific explanation existed. Mercer decided they had seen enough. The crew returned to their rescue cutter. As the ship moved away, the island slowly disappeared beneath thick fog once again. Everyone felt relieved. They believed the nightmare had ended. It hadn't. When they finally reached their home port, nothing looked familiar. Buildings were different. Vehicles had changed. Uniforms looked newer. Younger officers stared at them in complete disbelief. Mercer demanded an explanation. The harbor commander stood speechless. According to official records, Captain Daniel Mercer's rescue vessel had disappeared during a routine patrol 23 years earlier. An enormous search operation had failed to locate any trace of the ship. The entire crew had been declared legally dead. Families held funerals. Memorial plaques were built. Children had become adults. Wives had grown old.
The fog swallowed the horizon long before anyone realized something was wrong. 5 years after Captain Daniel Mercer's classified report disappeared into government archives, a completely unrelated expedition unknowingly sailed toward the same impossible location. This time, the people aboard weren't military. They were scientists. In the summer of 2003, the American research vessel RV Horizon Star departed from Boston to study unusual magnetic disturbances in the North Atlantic. The mission was funded by a respected oceanographic institute, and its crew included geologists, marine biologists, atmospheric physicists, and navigation specialists. Their assignments seemed routine: map the ocean floor, collect water samples, measure magnetic anomalies, return home. Nobody on board had ever heard the rumors about an island where time refused to obey reality. On the fourth evening, every electronic compass failed simultaneously. The chief navigator assumed a software malfunction. Backup systems produced the exact same result. North no longer existed. Every compass pointed in a different direction. Then something even stranger happened. The satellite communication antenna reported a connection to a satellite that had officially been destroyed 12 years earlier. Engineers laughed at first, until the system downloaded weather information dated June 18th. The crew checked every computer, every internal clock, every GPS receiver. Everything insisted they were somehow receiving live signals from the past. Dr. Emily Carter, the expedition's lead physicist, believed solar interference was creating impossible radio reflections. She ordered everyone to ignore the readings. But nature had already begun changing around them. The ocean became unnaturally smooth, not calm, frozen. The ship continued moving, yet no waves formed behind it. It looked as though the vessel floated across polished glass. Marine biologist Jason Alvarez noticed thousands of fish beneath the surface. Every single one remained perfectly motionless. None swam, none blinked, none reacted to the ship overhead. It was as though someone had pressed pause on the entire ocean. Crew members lowered an underwater camera. The live video feed revealed something impossible. Schools of fish, floating seaweed, tiny bubbles rising toward the surface, all completely still. Only the camera itself moved. Then, one bubble suddenly continued rising, then another. Within seconds, the entire underwater world resumed motion as if nothing unusual had happened. Nobody could explain what they had witnessed. Just before midnight, a massive fog wall appeared ahead, not drifting, standing, like an enormous white cliff stretching from sea to sky. Radar estimated it was nearly 200 feet thick. Dr. Carter recommended turning back, but Captain Michael Ross insisted on continuing. Scientific discoveries required courage. Besides, what danger could possibly present? The ship entered. Instantly,
Every sound disappeared. The engines still operated, crew members still spoke, but nobody could hear anything. Complete silence. Several sailors later claimed they could actually hear their own thoughts echoing inside their heads. After 20 minutes, the fog vanished, and there it was, the island, exactly as Captain Mercer had described years before. Except something had changed. There were people, dozens of them, standing perfectly still along the beach. Men, women, children, all staring toward arriving ship, not moving, not waving, simply watching. Captain Ross ordered binoculars. One by one, the frozen figures slowly turned their heads, every single pair of eyes locked on the ship at the exact same moment. No one aboard spoke, no one needed to. Pure instinct told them something was terribly wrong. Despite overwhelming fear, a landing party went ashore. The villagers remained silent. Their skin felt warm, their eyes blinked, their hearts were beating, yet they stood absolutely motionless, like living statues trapped between 1 second and the next. Dr. Carter approached an elderly woman holding a basket of apples. One apple had fallen halfway from the basket. It hung suspended in midair, without falling, without floating away, just waiting. Emily gently touched it. The apple instantly hit the ground. At that exact moment, every villager began breathing. Birds started singing. Wind rushed through the trees. The island exploded with life. Children laughed. Dogs barked. Church bells rang. People screamed. They looked terrified. One old man grabbed Emily's shoulders. "You came back," he shouted. "We knew someone would eventually return." Emily frowned. "We've never been here before." The old man's expression slowly changed. Confusion became horror. "No," he whispered. "You left yesterday." He pointed toward the sea. "You promised you'd return with help before sunset." The scientists exchanged nervous glances. Yesterday? They'd never visited this island. Then the villagers began describing events that had not yet happened. They correctly predicted which scientist would trip near the lighthouse, which camera battery would fail first, which crew member would accidentally cut his hand on coral. Every tiny detail occurred exactly as they described, as if they had already lived this day before, again and again and again. Dr. Carter soon realized something terrifying. The villagers weren't remembering the past. They were remembering previous versions of the same day. According to them, every sunrise reset time. Whenever outsiders reached the island, history repeated itself. Sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands of times. Only the visitors remembered previous loops. The island itself never escaped. One young girl quietly handed Emily a faded notebook. Inside were names, hundreds of names, explorers, pirates, whalers, military officers, even astronauts. Beside each name appeared only one sentence: they tried to leave. None ever returned. Except one, Captain Daniel Mercer. Emily's heart raced. Mercer's name was circled in red ink. Below it, someone had written, "He escaped because he never looked back." Emily demanded an explanation. The village priest slowly pointed toward the northern cliffs. "There is something buried beneath this island. It doesn't control people, it controls time." According to the oldest legends, long before European settlers reached America, native sailors refused to approach these waters. They believed an ancient object had fallen from the sky thousands of years ago. Where it landed, time cracked. Not stopped, cracked, like broken glass. Pieces of yesterday, today, and tomorrow mixed together forever. The island wasn't haunted, it was trapped inside every moment it had ever experienced. and anyone who entered became part of the fracture. That night, Emily secretly climbed the northern cliffs. There, hidden inside a cave, she discovered a perfectly smooth black stone, nearly 30 feet tall. It reflected no light, produced no shadow, and emitted a low vibration she felt inside her chest rather than hearing with her ears. The closer she walked, the slower everything became. Raindrops stopped falling, leaves froze in the air, even her own breathing stretched painfully. Then she saw reflections inside the stone, not her own, hundreds of different versions of herself, older, younger, some wearing different clothes, some injured, some crying. One version suddenly raised a trembling hand and silently mouthed 3 words, "Don't touch it." Emily stepped backward, just as another version of herself reached forward and placed her hand against the stone. The reflection screamed, the cave vanished, and Emily found herself standing completely alone on an empty island. No ship, no village, no ocean, only endless silence. She checked her watch. The second hand had stopped forever.
Emily looked around in complete disbelief. The village, gone. The ocean, gone. Even the sky looked wrong. There was no sun, no moon, no stars. Only a pale gray light stretching endlessly in every direction, as though the entire world had been painted with a single color. For the first time in her life, she couldn't hear her own heartbeat. She placed trembling fingers against her wrist. Nothing. No pulse. No pain. No hunger. No thirst. Yet she was still alive. She tried shouting. The sound never left her mouth. It simply disappeared. Then she noticed footprints in the sand, hundreds of them, some fresh, some ancient, all leading toward the center of the island, none leading back. Fighting every instinct telling her to run, Emily followed them. After nearly an hour of walking, she found a massive stone arch rising from the ground. Unlike the rest of the island, the arch was covered with strange symbols carved deep into black rock. The symbols resembled no known language, yet somehow she understood them, not by reading, but by feeling. They carried one terrifying message: every moment that enters here remains forever. As she stepped beneath the arch, the air suddenly changed. Voices echoed around her, hundreds, thousands, people whispering, crying, laughing, calling names. She spun around. Nobody. The voices weren't outside, they were inside the stone itself. Each voice belonged to someone who had once visited this island. Some begged for help, some repeated prayers, others endlessly counted seconds, even though time no longer existed. Suddenly, one voice stood out. Emily. She froze. It was Captain Daniel Mercer, the same man who had supposedly died years earlier. "Don't answer anyone you recognize," the voice warned. "They're memories, not people." The stone walls around her began to glow. Scenes appeared across the black surface like moving photographs. A pirate ship from the 1700s crashing into invisible rocks, a Civil War sailor wandering through thick fog, a World War II bomber circling the island before vanishing, Captain Mercer's Coast Guard crew, the Horizon Star expedition. Every expedition, every disappearance still happening simultaneously. The island wasn't preserving history, it was collecting it. Emily finally understood. Time on Earth moved like a straight river, but here it flowed into a lake. Every second that reached this island remained trapped forever. Nothing truly ended, nothing truly began. Everything simply continued. Then she heard footsteps, real footsteps.
A man emerged from the mist, wearing clothing unlike anything she'd ever seen. His uniform looked American, but not modern, not historical either. No flag, no rank she recognized, only a circular silver emblem showing an hourglass split down the middle. "You shouldn't be here," he said calmly. "Neither should you," Emily replied. The man smiled sadly. "I've been here for 96 years. Emily stared. He looked no older than 40. "My name is Thomas Hale. I arrived in 1930. Emily shook her head. "That's impossible." "It is, but impossibility doesn't matter here." Thomas explained that he had once been a Navy engineer investigating strange magnetic signals. His ship vanished exactly like Mercer's. Unlike Mercer, Thomas never found the way home. Over decades, or perhaps only hours, he had learned the island's greatest secret. There isn't just one island. Emily frowned. "What do you mean?" Thomas pointed toward the gray horizon. Slowly, other islands began appearing through the mist. One, then another, then dozens more. Some covered with forests, others with abandoned cities. One looked like a medieval fortress. Another held what appeared to be an entire airport, frozen in time. Emily's breathing quickened. Each island represented a different era, different centuries, different civilizations, all trapped together. "Every place on Earth where time ever fractured," Thomas whispered, "ends up here." Before Emily could ask another question, a deafening horn echoed across the sky. Thomas's face turned pale. "They've found you." "Who?" He didn't answer. Instead, he grabbed her arm and pulled her toward a cave. As they hid behind massive rocks, Emily saw them, dark figures walking across the beach. At first, they looked human. Then she noticed something horrifying. They had no faces, only smooth skin where eyes, noses, and mouths should be. Yet somehow, they were searching. One of them stopped, slowly turned toward the cave. Thomas whispered only 2 words. "Timekeepers. They're not alive. They're not dead. They exist only to make sure nothing escapes." The creatures moved silently. Wherever they walked, plants instantly withered. Sand hardened into black glass. Even the air seemed older. One reached the cave entrance. Emily held her breath. The creature tilted its head, as though listening to a sound no human could hear. Then, a brilliant beam of sunlight suddenly pierced the gray sky. The creatures immediately retreated. Thomas sighed of relief. They can't exist in moving time. Emily looked upward. For the first time, the clouds were moving, very slowly. "That means the island is weakening," Thomas said. "It's opening." Opening to what? To the real world. They raced toward the shoreline. Far across the ocean, Emily could see the horizon star. It looked impossibly distant, almost transparent, like a memory fading away. "You only have one chance," Thomas warned. "When the fog opens, don't stop, no matter what you hear, no matter who calls your name." As Emily reached the water, she heard it, her mother's voice, gentle, warm, calling exactly as she remembered from childhood. Then her father's voice, friends, colleagues, even people who had died years ago. Each begged her to turn around, to come back, to help them. Tears filled her eyes. Thomas shouted from behind, "They're only echoes." Emily closed her eyes and kept running. The ocean suddenly became solid beneath her feet. She wasn't swimming, she was running across perfectly still water. Behind her, the voices turned into screams. The island shook violently. Massive cracks split the black cliffs. The towering stone in the northern cave shattered with a sound unlike anything on Earth. For one brief second, Emily looked back, just for a heartbeat, just long enough to see Thomas smiling. Then, the island vanished. Emily collapsed onto the deck of the Horizon Star. Crew members surrounded her. Captain Ross helped her stand. "Where have you been?" Emily gasped. I was gone." She hesitated. "For days." The captain frowned. "No, you disappeared." "For exactly 47 seconds." Nobody believed her story. The cave didn't exist. The black stone wasn't there. Satellite images showed only empty ocean. Every sample collected from the island had mysteriously turned into ordinary rock. Every video file was corrupted, except one. A damaged security camera recorded a single frame. In it, Emily stood alone on the beach. Behind her, dozens of faceless figures watched from the cliffs, and beside them, a man in a strange silver uniform, Thomas Hale. Experts later enhanced the image. On the rocks beneath Thomas, someone had carved 6 chilling words. "Time remembers everyone who enters here." The U.S. government quietly classified the Horizon Star expedition. Officially, the mission experienced temporary navigational equipment failure, nothing more. But even today, some sailors crossing the North Atlantic report seeing an island appear for only a few minutes before fading into fog. Those who change course always make it home. Those who continue toward it sometimes return with stories that no one believes, and sometimes they never return at all. Because somewhere beyond the edge of every map, there may still be an island where time isn't broken.